No adventures. Tonight we are talking with Ron of the Philadelphia Area Gaming Convention, which is happening this January. Hello, Ron.
Hey, hello. Thanks for having me.
And I'm joined by the Dead Professor, my fellow Dark Alchemist Scott.
Hello, everybody.
Before we jump into this awesome convention, which we just found out about, shout out to our, once again, good buddy Leo, who gives us all the inside scoops of the cool places to be. Ron, can you share a Dungeon Dragon story with us? Something that resonates with you, or was interesting or funny?
When I first started playing D&D in 1980 or 81, not sure when, and when you're a 10-year-old kid or an 11-year-old kid, you don't really know any better. And my friends and I, we were playing the village of Hamlet, and we kept going to the moat house, failing to penetrate through the doors, really, and getting forced out. But we kept running into wandering monsters like skeletons and zombies, and we would we had a priest who would turn the skeletons and zombies and control them.
Mm-hmm.
And us being kids, we didn't know any better, so we dragged the skeletons and zombies back to Hamlet with us, and we couldn't figure out why the town was trying to, raising arms and raising their militia, and they had torches and things like that. So we were outlaws the entire time we were in Hamlet, trying to help them with their problem at the old moat house. But yeah, that rings out to me when there really wasn't any concept of right or wrong, and what's proper and what's not. But you know what? It was fun, and it hooked me in for a lifelong ride in such a great hobby. I wouldn't trade it in for anything.
So
Some wizards in this room might still have that issue.
No. Scott decided in our current campaign, the world of Erendor, that we're going to do high magic and we'll be held to a certain standard. We are heroes and we're heroic, right? And we're going to try to do the right thing. And actually, this is an interesting question, Ron. Let me pose this question to you. In the event of trying to do the right thing, is animate dead okay? The professor feels like you're animating skeletons and you're bringing them back to life, but I see if they serve a greater purpose in order to save people, it might be worth it. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I typically run Forgotten Realms when I play D&D, and in my group we play second edition AD&D still, and the priesthoods, especially the good ones that allow controlling undead, it specifically notes in their descriptions about why they're allowed to control undead. Okay. So in some cases, it's completely appropriate because it's spelled out and it's said to be completely appropriate. Do I think it's okay for your average run-of-the-mill lawful good priest or cleric to raise dead and send them in to fight their comrades or to fight on the behalf of the party as cannon fodder? Probably not.
Yeah. See that? We talked against his idea of summoning and controlling.
Boy, I would have thought he would have been a little more tolerant to my answer. I'm a little confused about what's going on here.
All I heard was the train whistle and he was gone. Give it a sec. I'm sure he'll be back. Here he comes.
So I had technical difficulties. I think the gods got mad at me for asking the animate dead question.
Yeah, that's what we said. Your intolerance has no bounds. You just run away when somebody disagrees with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So was that the outcome of that? Well, I guess we won't edit that out. We'll keep that in there. So Ron, so no animating undead for the low level wizard, right? No good.
Typically, no. I mean, it's going to depend on alignment and it's going to depend on situation. But generally, use, not burying the dead, and if you're a lawful good priest or whatever, and you're going to use them as cannon fodder, I'm going to frown on that most of the time.
My character's issue with it is that when the spell expires, they become random wandering undead.
Well,
and
yeah,
they just wander off and do their own thing.
that could be an issue. That could be an issue.
In 5th edition, anyway.
So, still playing second edition. How long have you been in the hobby? You said it's been a long time.
Since
And
1980, yeah.
And have you had other adventures along the way? Second edition, did you go into the different editions? Have you played other systems, Pathfinder, or anything like that?
Yeah, other systems, yes. Geez, we play a little bit of everything. Went through. We played Gamma World. We played Boot Hill. I play Shadow Dark now,
Okay.
which I think is a fine system, especially for one-offs. I did not move beyond second edition because I had everything for first edition. And then I had everything for second edition, and I just said I'm not going to do it again. I felt like second edition wasn't broken. I understand why they do editions. They want to sell more books, but I wasn't interested, nor were my core group, and that's what we typically play. If we're playing D&D, we play second edition.
Yeah, as a dungeon master, a game master, you can create a world, you can change your rules to suit you. You have your house rules. You don't need their version. And if something happens to pop up in a new edition, you can kind of reconfigure it for second edition. Right?
Yeah, you can, but you know what? I don't think second edition was a broken system. I think it was a perfect system. Had plenty of options. You could be as detailed and get into the weeds all you wanted to with all the splat books and the complete race books, the complete humanoids book. The complete class books, all those things. Or you could not. You could just play basic core rules, and then when you start getting into the different worlds there are, if you're going to play one of the canned campaign worlds, there's individual kits, individual races you can play for those. It just still working for me all these years later. It's 36 years since second edition came out, and I don't feel like it's gotten stagnant at all.
So it's amazing to play a game for 36 years and still enjoy those adventures around that storytelling around a campfire with your friends.
Yeah.
Now in the green room, we were talking. I guess this is a double question. Page 3. This is the third Philadelphia Area Gaming Convention. So a third convention. Doing conventions for a long time. But you said this evolved from a barter system, and is that way you can still kind of get some of the older books? Second edition is a while back.
Yeah, so the Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo, I wasn't thinking about running a convention in any way, shape, or form. I ran conventions in the 1990s and stopped in 1999. I just felt it, I was just about 30 years old. I decided, I had other things I wanted to do in my life with my spare time, so to speak. I was still gamed all the way through, but just running game conventions, it just wasn't in, I didn't have the desire to do it anymore.
No, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. So 33 years later, 32 years later, you want to call it, I'm the administrator of the RPG Collectors Discussion and Barter group on Facebook. It's a pretty large group. And we were watching other communities of online discussions about RPGs. They were just killing each other during COVID. Like everybody was trapped in the house and they were fighting over things like politics and our guys, like the three of us on this current in this current chat, we are we gatekeepers? Are we welcoming enough? Are we and to me, I was watching this as guys our age are fighting with newcomers to the hobby, calling them woke and this and that, and it was just terrible. It was just a terrible time for gaming online, and it was very divisive. Everybody was very divided, and I was talking to some of the fellow collectors in the group on a live stream. We were just talking, and one of them said, well, Ron, you used to run game conventions. That's what we need. We need a good game convention that includes everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, maybe I can consider that. And got some kind of bug in my office here. I said, maybe I can consider that, but I need a few things. Like I need help. It needs to be enjoyable for me. And, it needs to be something where we're focusing on where all gamers are aligned. Put aside religion, put aside who you're sleeping with, put aside politics, put aside all that stuff. We're all aligned when we sit down at a game table.
We had to roll some dice and have an adventure.
We want to have fun. We want
to escape. We want to escape from reality. Yeah. I don't want to deal with real life politics.
Yeah, nobody.
You to escape.
I don't care who somebody's sleeping with or who they voted for when they're in my game. It doesn't matter. Let's just have fun. Yeah. Okay. And, of course, a lot of the folks in the collectors group, they're older. And I said, and it's got to be open to everybody. It's got to be open to every game system as far as RPGs go. We're not going to try to pigeonhole this and call it an old school convention or this or that. And, the final part was, at this point in my life, I want to do something that's going to have that's going to do an element of good for the gaming community. So once everybody agreed to the concept I was putting out there, and we came up with a charitable initiative called the Gamer Assistance Program, or GAP for short. And our charity auction, all the proceeds go into a fund. And then folks in the gaming industry who've been in the industry for a long time, or gamers who've been around for a long time, or people who've dedicated their lives to the gaming industry. The folks who started out in this industry in the 70s and early 80s, they didn't have pensions. They didn't have any of this stuff. So now you see these folks in their 70s and they're having to go to GoFundMe to fix the roof on their house. And things like that. So I said, let's put together a fund that when we see these things, when we see somebody with a health problem, we see somebody whose car is blown up and they don't have the money to go out and buy a reliable car, we can jump in and provide some money to help them overcome the financial gap, so to speak. And it's worked out very well. We just do it. We promote. We have the program, but we don't promote where the money goes. We don't want to embarrass anybody. Like, hey, congratulations. Your husband, who was an artist for TSR, died. Here's a check for $1,000. Like, we don't want to do that, but we're there with the money when we see somebody who needs it and who's in the industry. And it's really a good thing. And, my concern is getting the money to the folks who need it, who've been in this hobby and have sacrificed some parts of their life for the hobby. As long as they're getting it and it's helping them get by, that
cool.
Fulfilled what I wanted to do. The other part of it is I really felt it was important that it meets some kind of criteria that I'm interested in. Mm-hmm. We could go hold a $10,000 winner takes all Magic tournament and probably fill the place. There's no interest in that from this group. So the focus is on role-playing games from 1974 up through what came out on Kickstarter last week. And it's a very good crowd. It's a welcoming crowd. Everybody feels comfortable there. It's a feel-good feeling. And even though we're growing quickly, it still has a very family feel. We have a community that's active 365 days a year on social media. So, it's never far from anybody's mind who's a fan. They can jump in conversations. We celebrate as something good happens for somebody in our community. They're launching a Kickstarter. They're a special guest of ours. Boom, we're putting it right on our page. Hey, let's support our friends. Nice. Folks who are getting into the industry. artists doing something good. You know, you take a look at a guy like you mentioned, Leo. You take a good look at him. Boy, what a great guy, right? He's very charitable too. Does a lot for charities within the hobby game industry. And, you know, when Leo does something good and he's recognized for it, we like to promote that. Because he's part of our community and we feel like we are an extended family and we want to keep that feeling going. We don't want to get to a point where when people are walking in, I can't stop and say hello to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting. We were at a Star Trek convention. We were vending there, and we were talking to someone. There was a fire alarm, and it was a disaster. And we were talking to some of the people who were there doing signings, and they were talking about they were all Star Trek actors, and they were talking about how that convention circuit is their pension. You know, a lot of them were small parts in Star Trek or something, and they literally make money every month by going to conventions and doing signings. And they were joking how people who had done other acting gigs for years wish they had been in a Star Trek, Star Wars, Marvel show because there's a con circuit and they can make money with that. Whereas, you know, people who might have been on a soap opera for something for 10 years, they don't have it. Those are interesting.
Yeah, and you know, what we end up seeing is we see people in the gaming industry get into such dire straits later on in life. I'm not going to mention who I'm talking about, but there's one particular former TSR writer who went on to work, found another company and worked for other companies. He's older now, and he was being forced to move because his landlord was selling like the building he was staying in. He couldn't muster up enough for first month and 1 month deposit to move to another place. And, you know, when you're on a fixed income, I can get it. I understand how that can happen if you don't have a pension. So stuff like that's really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why we really like to jump in there and help out. And some of these folks, it'd be great if they could get to conventions and sell signed prints and do things. But some of them don't even have the money to get themselves there and get the hotel room. Yeah. And so we do what we can to help. And
we'll put the links down below for that charity, so people can follow it. So the actual convention, the Greater Philadelphia Expo, is going to be January 15th to the 18th, right? At the Philadelphia Convention Center.
No. It's the Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center, which is
Philadelphia Expo Center. Okay.
Which is in Oaks, Pennsylvania. The convention center that's commonly known as the Philadelphia Convention Center, that's right in downtown Philadelphia where PAX Unplugged is held. That's actually called the Pennsylvania Convention Center, but everybody calls it the Philadelphia Convention Center. So I don't want anybody to get confused. It's not in downtown Philadelphia.
Okay, I want people to understand that. So it's actually the Expo Center.
It's at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center, correct. Okay. So we're out in Oaks, where there's like free parking. It's a big parking lot. It's a suburban area. Security's not an issue. Good. Hotels nearby, you know, much less expensive than Philadelphia. And, you know, to be honest with you, my day job is I'm a director for the Carpenters Union out of Philadelphia and regionally 7 states and Washington, D.C. And the Carpenters are locked out of that convention center in downtown Philadelphia. So we'll never this convention will not be going to the Pennsylvania Convention Center anytime soon in downtown Philadelphia.
Adventurers and union members need to stick together. Don't split the party.
Listen, I can't hold an event in a place where my brothers and sisters aren't welcome to work.
Can't work, absolutely.
Can't do it.
I'm sure the experience with your convention is going to be much more intimate and personal. I feel like there's going to be a lot more access to people. We were
That's
talking
true.
in the green room. I picked up an adventure. It was A1 to 5. These old D&D modules. And I didn't have A4, but I had 1, 2, and 3. And you're like, oh, you should bring it. The artists are going to be there. Some of the writers are going to be there. Maybe get the stuff signed.
That's right.
And you can have a little maybe easier access at the slightly smaller venues, a smaller venue where it's just the people enjoying themselves.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And when you were younger and you're trying to decide where you're going to move your family, you go look at schools, right? And you want to know what the teacher to student ratio is when you move to that school. I like the special guest or industry guest to attendee ratio to be a good one. So we have over 100 industry guests. Some, are smaller. Maybe they've put out like 1 or 2 products, but they're still part of the industry fabric. So we're happy to have them there. And then we have other people like Zeb Cook, who, is an icon in TSR and Wizards of the Coast history, or Frank Menser, folks like that. So, and it's all the guests in between. You look at today's content creators like Professor Dungeon Master, for example, who actually teaches up in your neck of the woods. He's a teacher full time, but somebody like him who's there, or Baron Durop, or Bob Worldbuilder, or the current YouTube creators that are out there. They all call Page a home convention for them.
That's awesome.
So it's a great mix. And when you see the people that you like and that you like to work with, did you ever play anything from Palladium Books when you were younger? Riffs, exactly right. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, I have all those. Yeah. Ninja Turtles is a good one. I love the artwork to it. I played the heck out of that. You can make your own. You can make your own Ninja Turtle. You make your own kind of animal creature. Yeah, I love that. Awesome.
Okay. Well, the founder and CEO of that company and the chief writer for that company, Kevin Ciambieta, he's going to be a Page. In fact, Palladium's one of our vendors, and it's very rare to see them come to a regional convention. So just having access to Kevin and Matt Ballant, who was one of his writers and editors for years. Matt wrote those books, the Compendium of Weapons and Armor and the Compendium of Castles, that everybody kind of had those in their collection. You never heard of Matt Ballant, but you've seen things he's written without even realizing it. Like, he's there. Okay. Jeff, when we talk about Jeff D, Jeff D did a lot of early artwork for TSR, but he also, was a co-founder of the Villains and Vigilante game. Villains and Vigilantes from Fantasy Games Unlimited. And
which we're still playing today.
Yeah, and he's done so much of that. He's done so much more throughout the hobby. He did so many magic cards and things like that. He's going to be there. Darlene, the artist who did the original Greyhawk maps.
We love a good map.
Yeah, she's going to be there. And then you have newer, when I say newer compared to Darlene in the industry, you've got like Anna Meyer, who's an outstanding cartographer. She's going to be there. So you get to just kind of walk up and mingle with them, and there isn't a green room for them to hide it. Like we specifically asked the guests, like, hey, we love having you. We're happy to host you. We're happy to promote you. But, please be accessible to the guests.
Yeah.
If the guests want autographs, give them autographs, don't.
Now, I'm not saying this is a small convention. It's a smaller convention compared to PAX and Gen Con. But you were saying, expect about maybe 2,500 or so for this year. That's considered a good year for you? Growing every year?
Year one, I was hoping to get 500, and we got close to 1,200.
Wow, more than double. That's awesome.
Year two, I was hoping to get 1,500, and we got 1,800 plus. Okay. And with the threat of snow on both Friday and Sunday. So we lost quite a few Sunday walk-ins from the year before. This year we're already at 900 pre-registrants, and it's August, and the convention's in January, and really the heavy registration time. We do early registration, and we like I said earlier, we're a 365-day promotion to keep the community going.
Yeah.
Even though we've already opened up registration and opened up individual events and things like that, there's a crush of people who start coming in October 1st through middle late December to the convention. So yeah, we're gonna hit 2,500, and it's not a come and go convention, meaning you come in, you walk around the vendor's room, and then you leave 2 hours later. Like, this is a come in, sit down, play games, join in the weekend long Shadow Dark event that you can hop in and out of. We've got 70 different seminars and panels to engage with.
Well, let's jump in there. Let me put this picture up here. We have a picture of a D&D table, so I assume we can find a lot of Dungeons & Dragons events, some other role-playing games, and let's talk about first, how do we sign up for the individual events once we have our pass or our badge?
Yeah, you just go to phillygamingexpo.com, go to the attend tab, and then go to event schedule. And you just start selecting your events there, and you click on them, you put them in your cart, and then you check out, and you're in the events. So this year,
let's talk about the D&D event. Yeah. So what's going on here?
This to me looks like it's a Professor Dungeon Master event, to be honest with you, because he uses this kind of round rotating Lazy Susan type terrain setup.
Oh, interesting.
But that's exactly what's going on there, and you see a big cross section of people. You see a young man from Rowan University there. That game club is very active as volunteers. There's somebody from my local game group. The guy to the right in the yellow staff shirt is in my local game group, and then you have all these other folks, and you can see that it looks like they had a good time for sure. Yep.
So, what kind of D&D events can we expect to see? We can see some one shots, 5th edition, 1st edition, 2nd. Kind of the whole spectrum, as well as castles and Crusaders and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, D&D 5th edition leads the way for the most events. Then the second most events is actually Shadow Dark. There's over 250 hours of Shadow Dark programming at the convention, which is, Shadow Dark is a real quick, down and dirty, old school type system. If you play D&D, you can play Shadow Dark within 5 minutes. A lot of fun. The author of that system, young lady named Kelsey Dion, will be there, and she's outstanding. Her recent Kickstarter did $2.8 million for a campaign setting, so she's doing something right. But there's quite a bit of 1st edition D&D, AD&D being played. There's basic, expert, companion, etc. From those sets being played. There's original D&D being played, like white box or wood grain box D&D being played. In fact, I know Frank Metzer's running some of that. There's some 2nd edition being run. In fact, yours truly's running a little bit of 2nd edition when he's there, as are some other people. Rich Baker and Bill Slavichak are both running 3rd edition and really 3.5 D&D. They're both TSR alumni as well as West End Games. We've got Ed Stark on our staff who worked for West End Games and TSR. He's running a 5th edition. It's like a mini campaign at the convention. Like, you can continue to play on with your character through several adventures there.
Yeah.
We also have some organized play events. We've got the Legends of Greyhawk, which is coming in, and that is organized play where you make a character and your character can be carried from convention to convention and move up levels and things like that. We have the Wardens of the Eastern Marches, which is a new organized play campaign that's been designed by Alex Kammer of Gamehole Con and Gamehole Publishing. We're the second convention to run those events. You know, we think anything that's related to Alex is going to be a winner. So it didn't take much to twist my arm to get us to jump on board. We have 8 of those events running at Page, and you know, that's something that you'll be able to play not only at Page but at Gamehole Con, Yeri Con, and other conventions around the country, and carry your character with you from place to place. There's a bit of Pathfinder. Paizo's biggest demo team, Order of the Amber Die, happens to be from New Jersey, and
they're right down the road. And they're gonna
they're actually good friends of mine, and they'll be there running Paizo events, which will be wonderful. And you know, with their large 3D dungeons, our Shadow Dark event is pretty exciting because it's not only convention long, but there will be several celebrity GMs filling in on that, and that the folks from Dwarven Forge are going to build these 3 tables of dungeons to go along with that event. So it's going to be highly visible, you know, miniatures, the whole bit. The Page mini campaign that I mentioned earlier, that's in conjunction with WizKids, and WizKids is supplying all the terrain and miniatures for that. So yeah, there's quite a bit. There's quite a few cool events going on for people to get involved in.
It sounds like if you've never been to a convention at all, and maybe Gen Con or PAX is too intimidating, too big, you know, too expensive. It sounds like this is the place to be. I mean, you have accessibility to people, a ton of games. You're going to have, you know, tabletop miniatures. You're going to have good terrain. You're going to have artists and writers from, you know, throughout the history of it. I mean, wow. And, you know, like I said, newer Kickstarter stuff, it sounds like it's just a ton. Professor, we might have to, I know we're planning on it, but we have to maybe order our tickets sooner rather than later. I want to sign up for a few of these things.
We're sitting at 857 different events right now.
Wow.
And I think 2 came in today that I haven't approved yet. So that'll make it 859.
That was my question. Are you still taking in events?
Yeah, in theory, we're taking them to October 3rd. I've been warning people that I'm probably going to cut events off before that.
Space.
Yeah.
You'll run out of space,
Will space be an issue eventually? At what kind of number does space become an issue at that place?
Never, because we started at, they have 5 different halls there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And 260,000 square feet under roof. So we started off with 33,000 square feet our first 2 years.
260. Okay.
So we've taken that 33,000 square feet and we've pushed into the hall next to it, which is another 82,000 square feet.
Wow. Okay.
So,
nice.
So the 32,000 square feet from year 1 and 2 are now all vendors. And then 82,000 square feet plus some is gaming and seminars and panels and contests and things like that.
Yeah.
So as we fill that space in subsequent years 4 and 5, we'll say, maybe by the time year 6 comes around or year 5 comes around, I'll be pushing into the next hall over and adding another 82,000 square feet. So we can go up to over 250,000 square feet. And listen, if we get to a point by year 10 that we're bursting at the seams at $250,000 square feet.
Yeah. Then
it'll be a good problem to have. I mean,
Ron, that's when we bring the army of carpenters in and we start just building out, right?
The show is set up by union carpenters in that facility.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. So how do you feel about the dungeon masters running it. You have individual groups running it. What do you think makes a good dungeon master at an event, or what do you think makes a good dungeon master in your personal game?
Well, at conventions, nobody gives a shit about the history of your home game. Like, don't bury us with unnecessary history. Let's focus on what we're there to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, I recently wrote a module, which is a tournament module, but I've also run it as part of my home game and then converted it for tournament or one-shot play.
Yeah.
And nobody gives a shit about my home game. I'm sorry to use that kind of language, but they don't need the details of my home game when they're sitting down for a 4-hour session. They need to know what they're doing, why they're doing it, and let's go.
Let them go.
Get me in. What's my character? What's the mission? Anything I need to know about the world, go.
Yep, exactly right. So that's the most important thing. There's nothing worse than sitting down at a convention table and having to hear about the entire pantheon of priesthoods in the GM's campaign world that you're playing in. Listen, you know what? You handed me a dwarf fighter. My dwarf fighter doesn't care about your pantheon, right?
And how about a terrain and miniatures compared to theater of the mind at a convention? A good mix. Do you like to have definitely something on the table? Do you feel theater of the mind, or it kind of depends on the scenario?
Listen, it depends on what you're running. I mean, the DM is everything, right? I mean, a good DM can pull anything off. But when you take somebody like, let's take Leo, for example. I think Leo and his family need something a little more visual, right? To get them involved. Like the younger the person is, the more likely they're to drift away, right? Leo's young son plays. He's not as interested if we're describing a room to him than if he can see it in terrain on the table. So you have to take that into consideration. Obviously, terrain games at conventions, I mean, to see things highly visible and to see things that you don't see at home with your home group when you have, cheesy poofs and Mountain Dew all over the table, to see that spectacular dungeon terrain, or, hey, we're trying to get to the top of this mountain because we hear there's, a giant gem up there or a dragon at the top. Well, it's great to talk about it, but to see the dungeon and to watch that dungeon master lift off the top of it when you enter the cave at the top and there's a room inside. There's something to be said for that, and I think that's why people go to conventions. They want to see and experience new things and see exciting things, and so
I agree.
It's a great mix there. There's some tremendous events. There's a day at the arena Dark Sun event where it's an entire arena with fans and everything else. And the fans even sometimes get involved and charge the pitch, and things happen. That's really wonderful.
It's funny. It's funny you say. I was going to ask about alternative games. In our travels, we've come across 2 or 3 games that stand out, and the arena game sounds like one of them. There was a game at Adepticon called The Grinder, and basically you had an arena, and you put your miniatures on, and it was a very simple system: 6 to hit, 5 to wound, 4 armor save. It was like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It wasn't even a D20. Right. You had like 2 wounds. If you got killed, you actually took your miniature and you put it in a meat grinder, and you got ground up. And they had a little painting area where you could sloppily paint your miniature. And it almost felt like a craps table. People not betting, but rooting on.
Yeah. Because you bought your mini to get back in.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Our mini.
Yeah, no, I got you. That's interesting. The Shadow Dark event that I mentioned, it's all weekend long. It's called Down the Dark Stairway. And basically it's 3 giant tables full of dungeon terrain. And the adventurers just make their way through. They don't see what the monsters are until they enter a room. Okay. But, it's going to be highly visual. It's going to be easy to understand. There's going to be a lot of player deaths, obviously. Yeah. We'll have a little graveyard there where we pin everybody's character to the wall if they die, that kind of thing. And, it should be very good. Have you ever seen the movie Rollerball
Long
with
time ago.
James Caan?
Yep.
There's somebody who's built a scale replica of the arena and
Oh, wow.
the rollerball players, and he's made a system that's going to be played there.
Yeah, that's
The
great.
exact rule.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Some of these
Yeah.
alternative systems where you can actually put a lot of people through it. Maybe it's just it's quick, right? They play a little bit, maybe an hour, and then okay, that was great. We played at Gen Con. We played Kill It, Keep It. A gaming club ran it, and have you heard about this one, Ron?
No.
So 3 tables, 8 people at a table. There's a dragon in the middle of the table, imaginary.
Okay.
There's 1,000 hit points, and everybody gets a random character card and a random initiative order, and you basically get one ability for everybody. You roll d20, something happens, +1 to hit, +1 damage, and you get 1 attack. And when the dragon gets to 0 hit points, he's dead. The last person that gets the killing blow wins the table. But the dragon attacks every round, so every round you have 1 hit point. You're dying. And then at the end, the 3 people win at the table have like a little dice roll off, and then you win a big miniature. And it took us about 2 hours. It was 24 people playing, and it was kind of cool, exciting. Everybody's rooting at the table, and especially when you get down to the end, you're like, oh my God, who's going to get the killing blow? I'd like to brag. I did get the killing blow, and I won the kill or keep it. I got to keep it. It was very exciting. And but it was a good way just to bring people into a game where just a lot of fast dice rolling. And it felt like, again, like the craps table, like you're betting and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. So I like to see those alternative events too.
Yeah, we have quite a few of those. We've got roller, in addition to roller ball, we've got roller brawl, which is from the folks who make the Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland role-playing game. And
I haven't heard that one. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite popular. It's like a post-apocalyptic punk role-playing game, and that's going to be running there. And that's their own game system that they've made, and it's like part board game, part miniatures game, part role-playing game. And I got to play test it last year, and I was happy they brought it to the convention. They're going to have the game out this year, and that's very visual. It's like a huge oval track, and there's gates on the track that they have to run the ball through, and you can kill other players, and it's just it's really neat, and it's unlike anything I've really ever played before. The closest similarity would maybe be Blood Bowl, but it was just really unique. We've got a lot of great BattleTech events, which I think are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a ton of stuff to do. The schedule's all right in front of you when you go to Philly Gaming Expo.com and you look at the event schedule under the attend tab.
Yeah. Can you pull that site up, Scott?
Yep, got it up right now. If you want to take a break.
Yeah, let's
sure?
All
right.
Yep. So, Ron, if people still want to apply to host something this year or next year, what do you look for in an event? What kind of stands out to you? Obviously, some visual stuff, some bigger stuff. Certain themes stand out more, D&D, but like I said, it really can be anything, even in their own system. Alice in Wonderland, Rollerblade, Toxic Swamps.
We like, we really look for alternative game systems. We like to see things like Call of Cthulhu.
Okay.
Obviously Shadow Dark. I mentioned Shadow Dark. It's like a big craze sweeping the industry. So we like to look at those alternative event types, and we also like to see things that are some of the newer RPGs out there. Like, for example, like the Aliens RPG is very popular. I
just played it. Just played it last week.
Yeah, and they sell out very fast. Like, I'm starting to play the Walking Dead RPG, which I had a great time playing, and I think it's got great campaign potential. So when you start looking at different types of systems there. We want to make sure that we're getting a good mix. I mean, I don't want to say a 5th edition games. It's like, okay, yeah, great, another 5th edition game. But, if you go to Shadow Dark there, if you scroll to Shadow Dark, not the mega event, but you see how so many of those games are already sold out early in the process.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
people are excited about it.
Yeah. So, the variety's everything. So those sort of things, especially from the bigger manufacturers that come out with new games, you look at things like any of the Borg stuff, like Morkborg, or we've got different hacks of we've got like Ragnaborg running at Page, which is like a hack of Morkborg, right? And the young lady who designed it, like, I think her games are already sold out. Like, they sold out pretty quick. Like, people are excited to play those games. If you look at Call of Cthulhu, there, you're going to see that Cthulhu. A lot of those games are going to be sold out already. There you go. Yeah. They're sold out completely.
I'm actually a cultist of Cthulhu, Ron. I signed up with the Chaosium, and I run.
Look there. You can see that the nine Cthulhu events are already sold out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, like, we can't get enough Call of Cthulhu. Last year we couldn't get enough Shadow Dark. We were looking for more people to run Shadow Dark because the demand was so heavy for it.
Mm-hmm. What's the average cost to purchase a seat?
Usually $2 to $4. I mean, some events, depending on their length and depending on who the GM are, maybe more. And we have some charity events that, where we take the entire seat fee and we put it into our gamer assistance program.
Yeah, like, rightfully so.
Yeah, like Kelsey Dion, she's got $100 a seat games that are sold out. The A1 through 4, the Slaver series, they were $25 a seat, and they're all sold out. They sold out in 4 minutes. So, and that's all for, again, we put all that money into our gamer assistance program as well. So,
yeah. So, the website, it seems to be, top notch. It seems like you're in tune, easy to navigate. You have the schedule events, the games listed. You have the days, you have the times. You can see right there the green buy button. If it's available, number of seats, number of hours, duration. It seems like it's pretty easy to plan the day out. It's bravo. Congratulations on running an awesome website, because sometimes that's a challenge. That can be frustrating for a first-time person attending, that they show up and they're like, oh, what am I buying, or how do I get my tickets, or where do I go? I'm lost.
And once you create your free account and you get your badge and you start getting tickets, if you scroll up there on the screen, you see attend. You see where it says my schedule.
Yeah.
Now, you're not going to see anything there because you don't have a badge, but once you have, you can see something. You can see here, it's going to show you what's on your schedule from day to day.
Grid it all out for you. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's easy to navigate. It's a good CRM made by the folks who run Board Game Geek, and this is their system, and it's a game changer. It really is. I mean, it makes it easier for me to worry about putting good things on the schedule, as opposed to worrying about how am I going to get tickets for each game. This prints them out for you. It does everything.
Awesome.
Any tips for first-time attendees? What to bring? Where to eat? What food is available around there?
Yeah, absolutely. There's concessions within the convention center. They're okay. They're not terrible. And it's not terribly expensive. For somebody like you who's up in Long Island, it's going to be cheap.
True.
But there are more than a dozen restaurants within a quarter of a mile bars and things like that. A lot of the nighttime activities at the convention, take place back at the Hilton Garden Inn,
Okay.
which unfortunately sold out at this point. But it doesn't mean you can't go there, and people are hovering around the bar, and we've got overnight gaming there. So a lot of cool stuff takes place there at the Hilton Garden Inn. Right now what we're trying to do is we're struggling because we've sold out 2 hotels already, and we're starting to sell out a third one. So, if you're going to come, get in soon so we can get you, so you can get a room that's not 15 miles away.
Yeah.
Really what it comes down to.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. It's become more popular. I mean, the hotel's going to fill up, obviously. But I think some people, it's okay to drive a little bit too. Don't be shy about that. You work your schedule around it, and then when you leave, you grab some dinner. Me and Scott have been to conventions. We haven't been able to get as close as we wanted, so we would drive and we would park. And you said there's plenty of parking at that actual expo center.
There's a ton of surface parking. It's a parking lot. It's not Philadelphia City. It's Oaks, Pennsylvania, and there's no foot traffic through there. It's like you're there for a convention or you're not there.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about parking your car and somebody going to try to steal your hubcaps or whatever. There's none of that there. You don't have to pay for parking. It's good.
Ron, what time do the events at the convention center end? Is it midnight or?
Typically 11 o'clock each night. We're trying to get it shut down by 11. You can run a little bit over, and then most of the time, if people want to get into pickup games late at night, they'll do it at the Hilton Garden Inn, because we have about 4,000 square feet there, and they have a huge, sitting area, I guess you'd call it, just where people hang out at the hotel. Well, since we're the only ones in the hotel, that's all ours.
Gotcha.
So basically the whole hotel is ours. And then next door to that Hilton Garden Inn, there's a Hampton Inn. They share a parking lot. We've sold that hotel out too.
Gotcha.
So
sure, hotels love you. Can you tell us about this picture here?
That is Gary Gygax's daughter, Heidi Gygax, holding that. What a great lady she is. She runs a nice convention in her own right called EggCon, short for E. Gary Gygax convention, which is run around his birthday every year. And to remember him, I had the honor of being the auctioneer for the E. Gary Gygax Memorial Scholarship Fund auction at their convention, which I really liked. And, but perhaps even more popular than Heidi Gygax is Page's convention mascot, Phil E. Cheesesteak there. He's
Nice.
He's very popular, and we sell, 3D printed miniatures of Phil. In fact, here's an example of the little 3D miniatures we sell of Phil. And
awesome. Yeah, pick one of those up.
No, it's available right on our website. Yep. And we also this year, for the first time, we're going to have some Phil plushies. So I'm just waiting to get the first sample. And interestingly, they're being handmade by a person out in Wisconsin. She pitched me on the idea that
where the cheese is made.
She pitched me on the idea she could do it. I guess it would have been easy to go overseas to do it, but I felt like with all the uncertainty with the tariffs and everything, I said, you know what, even if they're a little more expensive, we'll give them to a local artisan, or not local to us, but a U.S.-based artisan, and she sews everything by hand. I think her company name is the Snuggly Seamstress.
Okay, we'll put that down in the links down below. The Snuggly Seamstress. We'll give her a shout out. So let's end with this. You mentioned earlier flea market and auction.
Well, let's start with the flea market. The flea market takes place. It's a 3-hour flea market on Saturday morning.
Okay.
It is total mayhem. It's limited to 30 non-commercial entity sellers. So basically, people like just regular old people can come in and they can rent a table and they can sell games and sell gaming related items there.
Okay.
We've had some, I'll have to find a photo for you, but I mean, you couldn't move that. There were hundreds of people trying to see what those folks had, including vendors. Some of the vendors who sell used and out of print stuff, they were out there trying to grab what they could as well.
Yeah.
So, great place to get bargains. Great place to find out of print stuff. We've got several dealers who come who sell out of print items, which is big.
It's funny when you get older, when you're younger, maybe you couldn't afford a certain toy, a certain book. You're a little bit older, and now you want to complete that collection, or you want to, just own it and just hold on to it for a while and be its caretaker until it's time to have somebody else. Oh, look at us! We're getting a little behind the scenes.
That's that's auction stuff right there.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna have quite the auction this year. And our auction is a charity auction. We do take consignments. However, we take a 10% auction year, put that directly into the Gamer Assistance Program. Anything that's donated to the auction, 100% goes to that Gamer Assistance Program.
Yeah.
And most of the stuff we get is donated. But last year we were lucky enough, somebody stumbled across a Gen Con tournament module from like 1983. It was all 3 rounds run by the RPGA for the Frank Mentzer module Needle, which was later published as a commercial seller.
Okay.
And Needle, this person had the original envelopes that were sent to the RPGA DMs that were going to run the 3 rounds, the original modules, the original letters from the head of the RPGA at that time to these DMs. Wow. And that ended up selling for $8,000.
Some real nerd stuff happened in there, Ron.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I think we have Ron on pause. Give us 1 minute while we will be right back. So that was the Page convention. I think that Ron was struck down too, and he disappeared. But make sure to check out the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center, and that's going to be January 15th, 18th. And Scott, what's your thoughts on this convention?
I think everything about it looks great. It's it's got all the right things you want. The smaller crowd, the access to the artists, lots of games.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a convention we should go to. We just found out about it. We're very excited. I can't go to a ton of conventions. Gen Con, of course, is our big one. PAX Unplugged is something we're considering. But I think going to a smaller convention like this, where we actually have access to the people, now is a great time to go because, when this gets to 7, 10, 12,000 people, which looks like he has the capacity to do, then it's going to be a lot different, right? So,
Yeah.
Ron, welcome back. We were just saying that we're looking forward to go to this convention, and I think now is really the time to go because you still have a ton of access to games, and you still have a ton of access to people. When you get to 10,000 people, it's going to be it's going to be more crowded. So, if you can go to this one in the next couple of years, this is the time to really experience this awesome convention.
Yeah, I don't really want it to get to 10,000 people. I mean, I have a choice though,
Yep.
but we'll see how it goes. And but I want to be able to look everybody in the eye, give them a hug or give them a handshake when they walk through the door, as long as we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. So, Professor, any final thoughts?
No, Ron, nothing but the best of luck. It looks like a great con. Hopefully, we'll be able to join you there.
I hope so too. Let's talk offline. Maybe we can get you some media passes.
Oh, I appreciate that. We don't mind paying. No, it's all good too. If it supports a convention or
All goes to
do
the
a
funds.
donation to the page, but just to be able to be there would be awesome.
Well, we appreciate that, and hopefully we'll see you there, and coordinate with Leo and see if you can get into some games with him. I don't know if all the games he jumped into are all booked up yet. I know he was happy he got in A1 through 4. I know he was really excited about that.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'll tell you a quick, funny, not so funny story to me.
Sure.
I'm out to eat the night that we're going live with the first badge group being able to buy their tickets, their individual event tickets. And I'm actually out to eat up in North Jersey with Professor Dungeon Master and Mrs. Professor Dungeon Master. And my phone starts to blow up. I'm getting texts. People can't register. I couldn't do what I could do to fix the problem on my phone because there were so many texts and messages coming through from people wanting me to know that the website was down, that I was getting too many pop-ups to the point where I said, we're going to try this again in 48 hours. Sorry, folks, we're going to do it. And in 48 hours, there were 3,800 individual event tickets sold in the first couple of hours.
Wow.
For
it crashed the servers. It was overload. I mean, that's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, something like that. But it was funny because I was sitting there and I was having a nice dinner. It was actually my anniversary, and we were out with our friends, and that happened, and I just sat there and I went, oh, I cannot believe this. And every time, like, I'm posting messages, yes, we're aware there's a problem, we're trying to fix it, and then suddenly I'd get 25 more messages. I can't get into my games. Oh, you can't. So I love the passion that the people have for the convention. I really do.
Yes.
Even if it does give me some stress from time to time. I mean, people are so rabid about it and so excited about it. And if they weren't, if it was just another thing, I wouldn't be as jazzed to run it as I am. So I thank you for having me on.
Last question. We talked about this in the green room too. I don't have a picture of it, but you did an adventure, Dungeons & Dragons adventure module, an old school module, and you sold out 100 at this convention. But you will in the future be doing a Kickstarter, and we'd love to have you back on to talk about that Kickstarter and that D&D adventure.
Do you want me to pull that up on the screen real quick?
Sure. If you have access to it, you can just share it.
It'll just take me a moment. Let's see.
Yeah. So I remember I saw the picture online that you were selling it. We weren't sure if we were going to the convention, so I didn't purchase one. I will definitely jump on the Kickstarter. But there was some argument about the artwork. Somebody's like, "Oh, that artwork looks a little bit old," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's the classic style. I grew up with that. I love that artwork."
Yeah, I'm not 100%. I wasn't 100% sure where that guy was going, because that artwork was by Chet Minton, and he's universally loved. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like his artwork style is kind of cartoony, but I like it, and it fit with what we were doing, and I was happy to, I was happy he agreed to do the work for it, and
Yes.
I'm pulling it up here now for you. It's
I
just
think I
taking
got
me
it.
a minute here.
Yeah, there's been a big evolution of art through the years, from simple line drawings from the first Monster Manual to the Elmores and these different artists going into like kind of a World of Warcraft style of art now in the new.
I've got you there, Ron. I think.
We have this from the
Yep.
Sold
Yep.
Out, the Tomb of the Ancient Moor King. Oh, we're gonna swap it out for this color.
There you go.
Ah.
Yeah. So it's like an OSR. You can play it with basically any older game system, and
Yeah.
I was very grateful. It sold out in 3 days, and those were for pre-orders. And what we're going to do is we're going to be putting together a Kickstarter for this for the folks who weren't sure that they could come to page. There was a lot of interest from other folks in getting copies of it, and we're going to have a Kickstarter where they can just get the base module, or they can get all the bells and whistles that we're going to add onto it, like an old school illustration book for each of the encounter areas. Things like
is this your first book that you've actually?
This will be the first one that I'm publishing.
Okay.
Right. And it's interesting. Back in around the year 2000, after I was finished running gaming conventions, one of the reasons I also stopped is because I took a job overseas managing construction sites in China, and there weren't people playing D&D there. So at night, all I did was write adventures.
Oh, okay.
Like that was like how I was passing the time, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of them I've run at this point over the past 25 years, and a lot of them are not toot my own horn, but they are high quality adventures. Like I wrote them with the specific idea that I'm not going to, since I'm not playing these right now, I could forget details. So I included every detail. I included prefaces. I included background information. I included all the details on the NPCs. All the monsters were spelled out. The maps are so it's just a matter of taking those and converting them and relaying them out, really. And I'm pretty proud of the work. I'm very proud of this adventure. This fits in great, whether you're treating it as a one shot and or a tournament module, or whether you want to slip it into your own campaign. When you open up this module, it gives you lead-ins if it's a one shot, and it gives you well-defined pre-generated characters that the players can easily jump into. They've got like 5 personality traits they're trying to follow in addition to their description.
Nice. Give a little role-playing hints, like prompts.
That's correct. Or if it's an existing game and it's your party and you want to adjust it, let's just say your party's 10th level, it actually explains, here's what you're changing for higher level games. Monsters or hit points or whatever it is. But it also how you can run it in your existing campaign, and what the hitch to get the characters into the adventure is, and things like that. So it's good on both fronts. It's very old school. It's got a blue and white two-tone dungeon map.
Nice, classic. How does 10-year-old Ron feel looking at this masterpiece?
You know what? 10-year-old Ron was hooked from the first we played D&D. He really was. And, basically playing with my friend down the street. His older brother was the DM, and two other kids who lived about a mile away who would ride their bike through the woods to get to where we were at to play. Um, uh, role-playing games are limitless. They open up your mind to so many options and so many things, and they require you to think and be creative. And I really credit D&D and role-playing games in general for a lot of success that I've had academically and professionally. So
these role-playing games have made you happier and gave you a better life. These adventures that live in your mind have affected Ron now.
Yeah, no, definitely. I have to be creative at what I do at work, and this helps. Like thinking on the fly and interacting with other people, and being patient and tolerant, and those sort of things. They're all aspects of playing role-playing games, and I'm fortunate. My wife also plays, and we have a good time with it, and I'm fortunate to have a good group of people that play at my home regularly. We have our own game room that I built in the next building here, and
nice.
I'm surrounded by good friends.
That's awesome. Well, Ron, it's been awesome to have you on. I look forward to your
Thank
Kickstarter.
You for having me.
I, for one, will be subscribing. We're going to end our recording now. All the links will be down below. Come to the gaming convention, and if you can't make it, make plans for next year. Follow him on Facebook. We have on all the socials. We'll be able to find the Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo. That's page. On Instagram, it's Philadelphia_area_gaming_expo. On YouTube, it is at Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo, all one word. And the website is phillygamingexpo.com. Links down below. And we look forward to seeing you down there and getting some of our own D&D games in. Professor, thank you for joining us.
As always, good pleasure.
All right. And good night, Ron. I'll end the recording now. Just stay around in the green room, and I will give you some information. Thank you.